So let's welcome our first evaluator for tonight, Martin Friedman.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, President / whichever else you are today. Mr. Bobbert Terbob, you always give such entertaining speeches. I love listening to your ongoing adventures. So according to the evaluation guide you gave me, this was about engagement. And I have to say that I stopped and I looked at everybody while you were speaking, and not one person was looking away, was looking at a phone, off screen. Everybody was just glued watching you, and it was really great. The only person I caught was Kathy, but she was laughing too hard that she was just dying. It was great watching everybody. So one thing I noticed is that you tend to give your speeches a lot off the cuff, so you kind of tend to be butcher that word, so I'm not going to say it, but you give your speeches with a lot from memory, and so the kind of sometimes the structure isn't quite where we'd like to see it, I guess. So what I mean by that is you gave your fun stories, and I feel like they could be reordered a little bit, because you start out with the elderly lady, put it politely, the gentleman who, likes going where he's going, and then you kind of built up. And I think maybe, then you had the kind of the good example, right? So I'd maybe start good and then lead up to the doll, or the whatever we want to call that. Speaking of which, I really like you always have such fun words and phrases that I start jotting them down, and then you keep coming and I can't jot them all down. But we had jiggly bits, we had the alliteration, well, not alliteration, the usage of, I guess, the pea so warm you could poach an egg. It's interesting imagery. Yeah, so you're always just dragging on the floor. Yeah, you're just hitting us with these very just colorful, always so great with those, and I love that. But I would also like to see that sometimes you got to let your stuff breathe a little, that you always kind of speak at this very fast pace because you always have so much fun, more new stuff to tell us, that, maybe if you could pause a moment and let us get some impact on stuff. For example, we had the story where you give them the EKG on the chair, and then on the bed, and then the stuff, right? It's just coming out so fast. I feel like we could build it up a little bit with suspense, that when we finally do get to the doll, that it just kind of takes us even more out, right? So again, giving us a little bit chance to build suspense. The other thing I would like to see a little bit different this time would be your background. You have the look to your left. I said left idiot because you make us look to our right, which is a little distracting to your speech. I remember one time you give something, a similar story, and I think you gave us a nice background of like country road or something, just to kind of set the tone a little bit better. So something like that might be a little bit more for the speech, especially engaging, because you're telling us a story, and then at the same time you have this background, and we're kind of being drawn out of your story looking at your funny background. So we're kind of in two places. But overall, I love hearing your stories. I can't wait to hear more. Thank you very much.